A Return to Salem's Lot isn't gonna go down in the Movie Hall of Fame as one of the greatest sequels of all time. And they probably would have been better off just changing the title to something like The Town That Never Sleeps and making it its own individual movie. But there's still money to be squeezed out of Salem's Lot, and with Stephen King's blessing, or more like they just wrote him a blank check, Warner Brothers made A Return to Salem's Lot. But I've already reviewed it and gave my thoughts. What else is there to do? Well, in all my research, I discovered that they actually filmed most of the movie in Northern Vermont, and I just so happen to have family that live up there. And one location was literally 5 minutes just down the road. I've been there dozens of times in my life, and the last trip I decided to find out where they filmed A Return to Salem's Lot. Join me so we can see just how much it's changed in the last 36 years. First, a quick recap of the story and the characters. We have Joe Weber, an anthropologist who, as luck would have it, just inherited a new house from his Aunt Clara. So he and his troublemaker son, Jeremy, head to his hometown of Salem's Lot to check it out. Right away when they pull in, you can tell we're in the Northeast Kingdom, and our first stop on the location tour. One way you know you're in Vermont are all these white steeple churches. It seems like every town has 3 of them. This is the Linden Center Baptist Church, and as you can see, besides the trees growing up a bit and this house getting painted, not much has changed. There's even a baseball diamond still here that you can see in the movie. Next, real quick, we move on to Newberry, Vermont, where we see the garage the guys pull into when they first come into town. This area has changed a bit. There's no longer a road here, and if this was a garage back in the day, it's now just a house. Looks like it's the same color though. Obviously, in a town full of vampires, during the day it's all pretty quiet, and when Joe and Jeremy get out to take a look around, they see all these old Victorian-style homes. These are all located in St. Johnsbury, and they really haven't changed all that much today. This blue house was pretty easy to find, seeing how we have the street names right here, and right next to it is this yellow house, which was last sold in 2012 for $360,000, and I'm willing to bet it would sell for a lot more than that now, especially after you hear it was in A Return to Salem's Lot. Remember these houses. We'll see them again soon. Finally, father and son make it to their new home, an old cabin up on the hill. I couldn't find this exact location because it was most definitely someone's private property, but I think I got close. This is located in Peacham, Vermont, right by the fire station. Obviously, they've done a bit of work on this house, but if you were to look at where they're standing in this view, this is 100% the same barn. It's just back then there were trees covering up this church. They've cut down the trees since then, and I'm glad they did because just look at that view. It's very picturesque. And a lot of the locals and tourists like myself walk this path to see it. If this isn't enough to convince you I got the right place, well, just look at this scene. Here you can see the church and the barn. Yeah, that's it for sure. Next, we stop back to St. J, where we see this fountain. This is Arnold Park, a tiny little triangle right next to all those houses we saw earlier. There's that yellow house, and there's the blue house. It's funny how they can film in an area less than half a football field, yet still make it look so diverse. Anyway, this is Arnold Park, and that fountain is still there today. Actually, everything basically looks the same. They got rid of this curb and put a stop sign here, but other than that, same fountain, same rock. There's also a scene later on during the daylight where we see Joe and Jeremy when they just learn that the town is full of vampires. Joe wants to leave and forget about all of it, but Jeremy actually wants to stay. I was able to recreate this part with my son, which was kind of fun. Let's head back to Newberry one last time to check out the school. This is where Jeremy gets welcomed in and meets other kids his age. Well, they're vampires, so they're probably much older than him, but they look his age at least. The school is the town's central school, located right in the heart of Newberry. I'm a little confused on the exact placement of this shot. You can see the steps to the school, then the church behind it, almost the opposite of how it really is. From the movie, you would think that the church is on the left of the school, but really it's to the right. Also, this is definitely the back of the school. The front looks like this. Those steps aren't floating anymore, they built a little porch around it, but the window placement lines up. I didn't really have all that much time to figure it out because it was Monday morning and this is an active school. I didn't want to be put on some list and not allowed within 500 feet of kids, so I didn't hang out there long. Either way, this is for sure the same school and church seen in the movie. A lot of these kids playing on the swings and at the school are all local extras. I guess the town pretty much gave the crew free rein and let them film anywhere they wanted into the wee hours of the night. Finally, our last stop is Danville, way out in the boonies. I didn't even have cell service for miles out here. We found the small one-lane covered bridge Joe carries Jeremy over when he's trying to escape the town. At this point, Jeremy's getting sick and he's starting to turn into a vampire himself. This bridge is really the only thing left of the village of Greenbanks Hollow, a small village that used the river running next to it to keep the grain mills running. A fire broke out and burned everything down, including a 5-story barn. This covered bridge was restored, and if you visit it today, that's really all you'll see. The water going under the bridge is where Joe and the local drones, humans that serve the vampires during the day, that's where they fight. You see, they don't like the fact that Joe's taken Jeremy out of the town, as he'll soon be one of them. They fight a bit in this very creek. Well, in the end, the drones win, and Joe wakes up back in town. From this point, Joe meets up with Van Meer, who's hunting down Nazis, and they run around burning all the houses down, including the school. Joe and Jeremy kill Judge Axel, the head vampire, and they escape just as the sun comes up. And that was some of the filming locations in A Return to Salem's Lot. And I'm amazed how little everything has changed in over 3 decades. Everything's still standing, and heck, most of the houses are the same color. A Return to Salem's Lot might not have been the best movie of all time, but I will give the location scouts credit. They found some great spots to film with beautiful scenery. They should make a Return to Salem's Lot calendar. I would probably buy that. If you're ever in the area, check out some of these spots. At least drive by and imagine what it would be like at night when everyone comes out of their houses and a town full of vampires comes alive. A super big shout out to the website Cult Film Locations. Without them, this video would have been 2 minutes long. And a special shout out to my dad for finding the website and driving me all around Vermont for the day. And to you for watching.